Have you ever wondered about the hidden histories of our planet? Tales of ancient civilizations lost to the mists of time and submerged beneath the oceans? While science meticulously searches through rocks and fossils, another more enchanted path has been trodden, one that seeks to recover what mainstream understanding deems impossible, the lost world of Lemuria. Today, we'll delve into the captivating realm of occult labors of loss, exploring how they diverge from scientific pursuits, and why they offer a truly magical lens through which to reclaim what has been forgotten. Prepare to journey into a world where spirit and matter were once unified, and ancient wisdom still whispers from the depths of a lost continent. Unveiling Lemuria: Science versus Occultism. The previous discussion focused on the rigorous, dispassionate quest by scientists to uncover the lost worlds of deep time. I often characterize these scientific endeavors as dispassionate enchantment, because despite their imaginative leaps into paleohistory, they are firmly tethered to the mundane evidence of rocks, fossils, tectonic movements, and ocean floor configurations. As occultists have consistently pointed out, the material sciences are inherently limited in what they can recover about a legendary continent like Lemuria. Precisely by this imperative for tangible proof, their pursuit is driven by an admirable will to wholeness, seeking to complete humanity's stock of knowledge through verifiable data. In stark contrast, occultism's own labors of loss are transparently more enchanted. They are liberated from the stringent constraint of grounding their claims in evidence subject to measurement, verification, and the other rigorous demands of legitimate scientific methodologies. Rather than relying on geological strata or fossil records, occultism counters paleoscience's empirical data with the intangible and immeasurable record of spirit, alongside the vivid memories of former Lemurians and other astral beings. The very techniques employed to read this ethereal record, methods like clairvoyance, telepathy, and psychic communication, are inherently enchanted. They fall distinctly outside the realm of normative scientific procedures and established protocols, embracing a different kind of knowing. The imperative of retheization, uniting spirit and matter beyond mere discovery. Occult labors of loss are deeply enchanted because they are fundamentally driven by an imperative to retheize a world from which the divine, or God, had been systematically dismissed by the rise of material sciences. The core aspiration of occultism is the restoration of a lost unity, the profound connection between spirit and matter, and the vital nexus between religion and science. While the paleo-scientists' efforts regarding Lemuria have been largely conducted for the sake of accumulating human knowledge, occultism's labor is compelled by a powerful will to unity. For the occultist, the wholeness that modern science perpetually seeks had in fact always already existed in humanity's distant past, on lost continents like Lemuria, but had been tragically shattered and fragmented over epochs. From this perspective, science's quest for wholeness, if it continues to exclude the spiritual dimension, is ultimately destined to be unsuccessful. It is only through a science of the spirit that mankind's lost unity and inherent wholeness, along with lost wisdom and forgotten powers of clairvoyance, can truly be restored. This is a bold claim, that the very essence of true understanding requires acknowledging the unseen, the immeasurable, and the divine. The inherent enchantment of these occult endeavors lies precisely in their claim that an imperishable record of an extraordinary world, one existing beyond our ordinary senses, allows the adept to recover all that has been deemed irrevocably lost or missing. While one might never physically return to the former Lemuria in their current body, it is asserted that it is entirely possible to remember everything that transpired on the now submerged continent, and even to consciously recreate a life and community in the here and now based on this reconstructed memory, as was famously attempted by the Lemurian Fellowship in the mid-20th century. Lemuria's multifaceted role in occult thought. Over more than a century of occultism's fascination with Lemuria, its labors of loss have varied significantly, as has the specific nature of its preoccupation. Occultists have leveraged the concept of Lemuria for a diverse array of purposes. It has been used to meticulously reconstruct a lost geography of spirit, tracing its journey through Earth in its ultimate quest to be reunited with its divine source. In this sense, Lemuria becomes, quite literally, one of the foundational grounds on which being itself manifests and unfolds. For many, it is also envisioned as the realm of mankind's very first civilization and first race, often revered as the primordial motherland of humanity. Not least, Lemuria, as the profound repository of the lost word and lost wisdom, is repeatedly positioned as the crucial site for a future utopia. In this envisioned future, the shattered unity of humanity would finally be recovered, as mankind collectively moves into a new age. This new era promises to overcome and ultimately undo modernity's stark disjuncture between spirit and matter, and between the often conflicting realms of science and religion. It's a vision of integration and harmony that stands in stark contrast to the perceived fragmentation of contemporary society. India, a sacred nexus for occult Lemuria. And what role does India play in all of this? India was undeniably central to the paleogeographer's placemaking precisely because its unique faunal and floral remains, its ancient fossil rocks, and its intriguing tectonics captivated many men of science from the early years of the 19th century. However, the subcontinent is equally, if not more, crucial to the occult imaginary. This is not the India of the scientist, but rather the India of the Orientalist, a land hallowed for its deep spiritualism, its vast repository of profound Sanskrit philosophy and ancient traditions, and its reputed, almost unfathomable antiquity. For Helena Blavatsky, the co-founder of Theosophy, India was initially conceived as the cradle of the race. Even after the mythical cradle of humanity metaphorically shifted further west and towards the Pacific, she continued to invoke the most archaic Sanskrit and Tamil works, as teeming with references to both continents, Lemuria and Atlantis. As various scholars have noted, the pivotal theosophical moment in modern occultism would quite simply not have been possible without the profound influence of Hindu and Buddhist India. India was masterfully recast as the supreme repository of all manner of secret knowledges and archaic wisdom, rivaled only by the mystical lands of Tibet. This profound recasting is particularly noteworthy in post-theosophical occultism, across whose ongoing labors of loss, India continues to flicker as a sacred and hallowed land. For instance, James Churchward famously claimed to have discovered his ancient Nakul tablets there, hidden within the vault of an old temple in Burma, which was then a part of British India. Similarly, for Robert Stell and his Lemurian Fellowship, after the tragic disintegration of Lemuria, India was believed to be one of the lands colonized by those Lemurians who were more spiritually inclined, while the more materialistic among them headed west from the distressed continent. Even the channeled entity Ramtha, often associated with Jay-Z Knight, is presented as none other than a former incarnation of the Hindu god Rama, who, after Lemuria submerged, led his fellow survivors towards India. In all such spiritual placemaking, the spiritual Indian is often imagined as a direct descendant of the Lemurian, and correspondingly, Indian wisdom is repeatedly turned to, again and again, as a primary source of inspiration and insight into the lost world of Lemuria. A telling reminder of this deep connection can be found in Paul Brunton's The Message from Arunachala, 1936. In this work, the author, a leading conduit for channeling Eastern wisdom to the disenchanted West in the mid-20th century, revisits Tiruvannamalai, Arunachala, to remember his erstwhile guru, the revered mystic sage Ramana Maharshi. Brunton recounts that an American geologist had once told him that Arunachala was as ancient as our very planet, specifically because it was indeed a remnant of the vanished continent of sunken Lemuria. Furthermore, much like Blavatsky before him, Brunton refers to Tamil traditions that explicitly mention the lost continent, and he observes that he had personally heard from Ramana Maharshi himself that the lost continent of Lemuria had once stretched all the way across the Indian Ocean, embracing Egypt, Abyssinia, and South India in its confines. Such is the enduring power of this hallowed mountain that it continues to lure Brunton back again and again. After a profound visit to the top of the mountain, Brunton describes returning to the world beyond its Lemurian height, with tablets that he claims had been written at the bidding of a strange messenger who gazed at me commandingly and said, "Give ear, my son. Take up your pen and write. Search deep within your mind for its most vital thoughts." Not many days passed before it seemed to me that I must unburden myself of those charactered mosaic tablets, those indictments and commandments which I had carried down from my strange Sinai. So I present these souvenirs of my last wanderings upon Arunachala, and submit them to the wizardry of the printing room. In the rich tradition of Blavatsky's Book of Jnana, Churchward's Nakal tablets, or more recently, Subramunia Swami's Lemurian scrolls, Brunton's mosaic tablets, with their message from Arunachala, derive their powerful resonance in the Euro-American spiritual marketplace, precisely because of that last half-century of dedicated occult labors of loss, which had come to indelibly associate Sclater's biological concept of Lemuria with the esoteric notions of the lost word and profound lost wisdom. The narrative of Lemuria, as explored through occultism, offers a compelling alternative to purely scientific explanations of our past. It suggests that perhaps some truths cannot be measured by instruments or found in fossilized remains, but rather reside in the subtle realms of spirit and ancient memory. What are your thoughts on these different approaches to understanding our world's forgotten histories? Do you believe there's a deeper record of existence beyond what science can verify? Share your reflections in the comments below, and let's continue to explore the mysteries that lie at the intersection of the known and the unknown.